Thank you. My name is Michael Prayer, High School Superintendent. So I say greetings to all of you. Greetings to my colleagues, the other superintendents in the conference right now in the room. All the superintendents across the borough who are really putting their support behind this initiative. I send greetings and thank you to them as well. I know some of you are representing those superintendents, the FSCs, the executive directors, all across the city. Those of you who are passionate about this work, we say thank you. Really, sincerely, thank you, because it's really important. We have a movement that's starting. There's an important movement that's starting. There's several movements already in place, but we, as the locals, as the ones in the field doing the work, there's a movement, and I wish to share that with you very, very briefly. So why are we here? Young Men of Color Steering Committee. So we started, let's say about July, thinking about what we can do for highlighting and demonstrating the success that's happening across the city with young men of color. And again, there are things that's already happening, and I think that too will be included. But what can we do in our day-to-day work to exhibit and think about the great things that are happening? And what can we do for pre-K through college, right? Because the most important grades that we know the research is saying is from 6 weeks old till 3 years old is the most important age range for young men of color. There's a lot of research behind that. So we put together this idea that we want to celebrate, we want to bring all of us together across the city, not just in Brooklyn, not just in Queens, but really break down the borders that separate us and collaborate around this initiative. Usually when we have conferences and we start talking about young men of color, we start looking at data about the gaps, right? But today we're not talking about data, we're not talking about gaps, deficiencies, right? I think we all know what the data is saying, so you will not see any slides that's speaking about national data. But what you will hear today is about a national movement, about solutions, right? And if everybody has a pen in their hand, if you can please write this down. The letters R-I-B-S. The letters R-I-B-S. It's an acronym. And today and moving forward, we're going to refer to this acronym called RIBS, right? It's not the ribs that we like to eat, all right? But it stands for raise, issue, bring, solution, right? So if you raise an issue today, please bring a solution. Because that's what we are. We're solution-oriented today, moving forward with this movement. And there's a lot of solutions happening, being brought forth, being implemented, being applied.
Mike. Good morning, everyone. So this morning I've been charged with telling you a little bit about a program that we're doing in Queens. And although I am assigned to Queens North, it's a borough-wide program for Queens. I first wanted to start off by telling you a little bit about myself. This is my 29th year with the Department of Ed. I've had 2 principalships. I've spent most of my career working in alternative high schools. And all of that to say that constantly thinking about and working with our children that I know some people call at risk, I call them resilient and having the ability to survive. And so last year, I started looking into our students in temporary housing. And we had one particular district that it just became quite concerning about how we were working with the students and how the students were succeeding and the challenges that they were facing day to day in schools. And we thought about putting programs in schools and as a principal, as a former principal, knowing that although at times we have the best intentions, that having yet another thing in our building, yet another thing to manage is often quite difficult. So we decided to actually hold the programs at the shelters. And so last year was our pilot program, and we started at one of the shelters, Saratoga, in Queens near the airport. And what we did was we engaged a consultant who worked on STEM for our students, and they did science and math, and they looked into ways of engaging the students while they were at the shelter. And so here was the biggest takeaway for me last year. We actually trained the staff at the shelter, and we trained them to build capacity, and they said something that was really enlightening for us, which was, you know, you send the kids go to school, and they do stuff at school, and then they come back to the shelters, and we want to also be able to do things with them. We want to be that next level of support for them.
Good morning. So, just to give you a little background, and everyone who's speaking this, first of all, I applaud each one of you for making this commitment to this initiative. It's extremely vital and important in regards to our communities and our schools. I think we know every day that we read the paper and see the news and see negativity. But we also know that there are young men of color doing positive things as well. It's about trying to navigate them to be the models and citizens for the young people who might be a little bit confused and need to be led back to the right place. So just to give you a little background, I'm speaking in front of you today. I started out teaching in District 75. So I was there for 9 years, working with emotionally disturbed students and behavior disturbed students, many coming into 8th grade, 9th grade with the inability to read. I have a reading specialist, so that was one of the first things we did was try to empower them in regards to literacy, which is something that's happening across the board. I have about 172 schools that I oversee in Brooklyn South. And with that in mind, one of the largest areas of need is in regards to literacy. And that is something that's connected not only to the students, but also to the families. What you find is that we have a lot of generational gaps happening where grandma is raising a young man and not really being attuned to our social media, which is also a huge piece of our problems that are occurring today within young men of color and what is being depicted as being a young man. I always like to make the difference. There's a huge difference between being a young male and being a young man.
So this is what it looks like. On the chart paper, may I have a marker, please? Thank you. You want this one? One person at the table will do the following. A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on and so forth. Could you do that now? Take a couple of seconds. And alphabetize from A to Z, keeping in mind that you will be noting something besides each letter. Okay? When I give you the word, you as a team will have to come up with one word that pertains to the theme that I'm going to give you. Okay? The team that finishes A to Z first is the winning team. You can, and part of this, ordinarily we'd line up, it would be a straight line and you'd be working on the board, right? Every team member, it is a relay. So one person with the marker writes and then passes the marker to the next. Got it? So that all voices are honored and everybody places the things, right? You can assist each other. Keep in mind, it is a competition, so you may not want the other team beside you. Okay? You're on the clock as well. Okay? You're on the clock. So the first team to finish, where is the superintendent so he's getting the prize ready. We're all 62. Okay. So, the theme for this race is, and again, it's about what comes to mind, right? Young men of color. All right, you're on the clock. No pressure. Oh, sorry. Team 6 has got a strategy.
Oh, it's me.
First team to finish, if you'll post it in the front, please. The first team to finish. I know that Z, Alton tied. Post it in the front, first team to finish. Or you didn't hit the finish line. If you're not in the front. This was team. Yeah, team 3, you all were working and coming down that track. What is supposed to be? So who's team 5? What's with this exemplary? And trying to get the E. Listen, that's just what team 5 did. They try to get the E off the paper.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Oh, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, 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 oh, glory, glory. Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends. Sins that go against our skin become blessings. The movement is a